Hello chess friends, and welcome to Jozarov chess channel, and welcome to my best chess games of all time series. So in this series we see the best of the best chess games that have been ever played in chess history, and today I wanted to show you a great game played by the former world champion Alexander Alekhine. Alexander Alekhine was the fourth world champion, and he had really sort of an annoying style of playing. I think he was really sort of squeezing you through the whole game, and then when he gets the position where he wants to have it, then he gives you this decisive touch, and then it was basically game over. And sometimes when I play chess myself, when I go to some tournaments, when I face much stronger opponents, I sometimes feel the same. I don't find any counterplay at all. I basically get only crushed, squeezed in, and that are the games I really hate to play. And I think most of the players who, while playing against Alexander Alekhine, felt really the same, because he was really sort of a boa constrictor player. So you see in this game why he played also a very nice and slowly positional game, and then after that, when he gets the position like a wolf waiting, and then he really grabs you, and it was game over. So the game that I wanted to show you, it was played in 1926 against Nicolai, Eugen, Schwartz. Here Alexander Alekhine with the white pieces, and he played the move d4 first. So we have knight on f6, we have c4, and now g6. We have the King's Indian. The King's Indian was also popular back in this 20s of the last century, and here Alexander Alekhine played a very nice system. It's the fianchetto variation, or the Karlsbad variation of the King's Indian, with some ideas to play on this light square diagonal with this light square bishop. So white will have this very important diagonal, black will have also this very important diagonal. So bishop on g7, bishop on g2, castling, and now knight on c3. This prevents some d5 ideas immediately, because most of the times black can also go into this Grunfeld setup. This so far is not possible because you can take immediately, although it leads to a tactical line in which black can bring back the pawn, but of course d5 to play immediately against a player like Alexander Alekhine wasn't probably a good idea here for black. So that's why after knight on c3 we have d6. This is now the common line of the Karlsbad variation. Here we have knight on f3, and now knight on c6. When I play the King's Indian, I also like to play the King's Indian. I like to play this knight on c6 setup. My idea, let's flip the board a little bit after here the move d5. If your opponent castles immediately, I like to play the move bishop on f5, and here after something like b3, I like to play here knight on e4 after trades of pawn knights here on e4. This is now the main idea, to create sort of a positional pin against this light square bishop on g2, and battle here on the light square, because as I said, this is the main advantage here of white's, this light square diagonal. Now in this particular outcome, black would have the good diagonal, because after something like bishop on b2, then it would be us who are pinning here the dark square bishop, because then this pawn here on d4 is a little bit static, because you cannot advance it because of the spin of this bishop. So these are this main ideas. As I said, here in this continuation after d6, Alexander Alekhine played the immediate move d5. And also one of the main ideas of this black setup is to go knight on a5, really forcing white to do this d5 move, because now we have accomplished many things. First of all, white has closed this light square diagonal for the light square bishop, which is very important, but also we have now an attack against this pawn on c4. So there are now several choices for white to continue. You can go knight on d2, queen on d3, or even b3 is a possibility. The b3, it's really aggressive with knight on e4 ideas. It's really dangerous. So here in this continuation, Alexander Alekhine played the move queen on d3, and now the threat is of course to play the move b4 and grab the knight, which is a little bit loose now on the queen side here. But here I think black made sort of an inaccuracy. Black played the move b6. You can play immediately the move c5, Now you have also prevented this b4 move, which is white's main idea. And if d takes c6, then you have simple knight on c6, and you have simplified the position, still with some threats to play bishop on f5, even to push the pawn on e5 here. So I think this is a better line for black. Now the queen is a little bit endangered here in the center. Meanwhile, you can get some tempos, and after the potential bishop on f5 move, if white plays the move e4, again this bishop would be blocked out, and still we would have this very nice diagonal for our dark square bishop. So here after queen on d3, as said, b6 is a little bit dangerous here, because here knight on d4 was played, aiming this very weak c6 square. This is now our main target, and of course with the preparation to play the move b4. The important thing about this knight on d4, that it also closed this diagonal for the bishop. So you see, it's still a battle against these bishops and against this powerful fianchetto bishops that white and black have here. And here knight on b7, of course with the preparation to play knight on c5 with an attack against the queen. Knight on c6, we have queen on d7. Alekhin really fixed the knight here on c6, and here castling played by Alekhin. We have a5, also a common idea, because we want to have this knight like an outpost here. When the knight comes on c5 without this a5 move, it still can be kicked away with potential b4 move. So that's why this a5 is a good preparation for this knight on c5 outpost. We have b3, and here knight on c5, queen on c2, and now bishop on b7. This is maybe a too rushed move by black. There are possibilities to even immediately play knight on e4, because we can use this very important pin here by the bishop on the rook. Here after bishop on b7 we have h3, because there is also the idea of blacks can be knight on g4, and then to fix the knight here on e5, challenging this knight on c6. So that's why here h3 was played by Alekhin, preventing such ideas. And here we have rook from a to e8. And again, knight on e4 would be the better line, I think, because then white is forced to play bishop on b2. After bishop takes on c3, bishop takes on c3, knight on c3, we have queen on c3, and we can now play something like e5, closing the position. And in the next move we could take here the knight on c6, or we can immediately take it out, because now the bishop is again a little bit blocked out here by its own pawn. And meanwhile black could choose to go here with the potential e5 moves, f5 moves, expand here on the king side. So this would be, I think, a better continuation. That's here rook from a to e8 is okay with the preparation to play the move e5, but still this knight on c6 is really annoying. I think you have to get rid of it somehow. And here Alexander Alekhine played the move a3, and now bishop takes on c6. We have d takes c6, now the queen has to retreat, and now very important move b4, kicking away the knight. Here after a takes b4 we have a takes b4, and now knight on a6. And now Alexander Alekhine played a very nice idea, rook on a4. This is now the preparation to play something like, of course, bishop on b2, and then doubling up the rooks on the a file, because this knight is really a little bit loose here on the edge of the board. It's really an object of white's attack. You cannot protect it with another piece. Basically you lose the game here on the a file. That's why knight on b8 was played, and here Alexander Alekhine, as I said, he was really squeezing you with this b5 move. It's really game over already, although many moves were played in the continuation. But here after b5 you see this knight is out of game, it's blocked out, it doesn't have any squares to escape from this b8 square, and basically it's stuck here on this very annoying square. So here h6 was played by black, and here rook on a7, simply improving the position of the rook. We have e5, and now king on h2. You see Alexander Alekhine is not rushing, simply improving first all of his pieces. When he gets the pieces on the best squares, then it's time for the final touch. So here king on h7, we have f4, very nice move, and now rook on e7, we have f takes e5, we have rook takes on e5, and now bishop on f4, rook on e8, and now knight on d5, of course, this knight is not doing so much. I think that's why it's good to trade it off for this good defensive knight. Knight takes on d5 was played, bishop takes on d5, and you see now how Alexander Alekhine improves the position of his pieces. And what we'll see in the continuation of the game is an incredible 15 move tactical sequence, forced tactical sequence that Alexander Alekhine will play here in the continuation. It's really unbelievable how great his calculations were back in the last century. Unbelievable stuff. He was basically playing like a computer from this point on. After queen on d8, we have now h4, simply improving again, not allowing some g5 ideas, because as I said, we want to stay with our pieces on the most active squares. The bishop on f4 is perfectly fine. The bishop on d5, perfectly fine. The queen, also very powerful. Rook on f5, very good. And this rook on the 7th rank. You see how many squares these pieces are covering. A perfect attack here. Queen on e7 was played, and now simple e3, very important move, fixing now this bishop. You cannot advance, of course, again to g5 because the queen is there. King on h8, and now king on g2. We have f5, and now rook on e1. Now we are trying to open the position with the move e4. King on h7, you see black doesn't know what to do here anymore. He's repeating moves with the king, and now e4. We have bishop on e5. Here Alexander Alekhine simply choose to open the e-file. Of course, after g takes f5, we have c5, and this is now this very important moment of the game, because here Alexander Alekhine realized these weaknesses on dark square, because of course black has a good fortress here, but here is the position where you have to crack it. And from this point on, as I said, after this move c5, we have a 15 move forced tactical sequence. Basically it's game over here. You have to react all the time. You cannot escape from this attack that Alexander Alekhine has prepared, although it seems that maybe black can defend, because as I said, black has built a very nice fortress here on dark squares. But let's imagine here after d takes c5, if you do that, of course you simply lose the bishop, so it's not possible. If you don't react, if you play something like queen on f6, then or queen on d8, then we have simple c takes b6, and you see the problem. This rook is playing on this very dangerous spin against the king, so again it's not possible to not react here. So that's why after c5, b takes c5 was the forced line, and again you say we have this very annoying move b6. Now both of these pieces are on the 7th rank, the queen and the king. Again we have a forced tactical sequence. We have rook on c8, and now queen on c3, very nice move. If you take, of course, then we have first a check, and again this pawn is very dangerous. We have also we can also take this pawn, so it will be again game over. So after queen on c3, we have rook from f2 e8, defending the queen, and now bishop takes on e5. Again you have to take with the pawn, you cannot take with the queen, of course. We have d takes e5, and now very nice move, queen takes on e5, sacrificing the queen. Unbelievable stuff. You see again a forced move. The tactical sequence is still continuing here. Queen takes on e5, we have rook takes on e5, rook takes on e5, and now rook takes on c7. You have to take, of course, because it's with the check, so you have to take the rook. Rook takes on c7, we have b takes c7. Again we have an attack against the knight, so if you don't retreat, then you have to play, of course, rook on e8, because you want to bring the rook on the back rank. There is this threat to take this knight with the promotion, so that's why rook on e8, again a forced move, very nice. We have c takes b8, rook takes on b8, and now very powerful move, bishop on e6. You see, you cannot participate in the defense with the move rook on c8. That was all calculated by Alexander Alekhine. Unbelievable stuff here. King on g6 was played, c7. We have rook on f8, and now c8 with the promotion. Rook takes, bishop takes. Now we have c4, not a problem, because this bishop can catch up with this pawn. Bishop on a6, c3, bishop on d3, and here king on f6. We have king on f3, king on e5, and now king on e3, simply going into this opposition. We have h5, but not a problem. We have bishop on c2, king on f6, and now king on f4, here we have king on g7, and now king takes on f5, king on h6, and again this opposition style, king on f4, and in this position black resigned. There is no way that you can protect this h pawn anymore, and the continuation we would then have two pass pawns. So let's go back. As I said, this is very nice play here. It was in move 34, pardon me, this move c5. Great calculations here. It's really a great coordination between these pieces. The queen is cutting this diagonal, it's also cutting this file. The rook is cutting the 7th rank. This, we have a powerful rook on the e file. The bishop is on this very annoying diagonal. So perfect attack by these rooks, by these bishops, by the queen, and black was basically helpless here. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game. I enjoyed it a lot as I saw it the first time in my life, and meanwhile you can watch my other commented chess games, the best chess games of all times, and you can also watch my computer chess games if you want to see the best chess games played by Lila C0, Alpha Zero, Stockfish, and many more. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you like this content. Thanks you for watching, guys, and chess the best, of course.